Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sons and Daughters of Liberty. Tonight we're going to continue what we've been doing this week, talking about things we can do about certain issues that keep coming up here on this platform with people losing their channels for various reasons. For those wondering why I didn't do one last night, not feeling well, as some of you have been watching past few nights, now I've got a nice cough and just wasn't happening yesterday. Probably going to keep this show short unless I get a couple people that want to join me, just because I don't know how long my voice will hold up. But in fact, I've probably only been up for an hour right now because I got up earlier and made it for about 40 minutes and went back to bed. So I'm not feeling the greatest, but I also want to continue this series and keep talking about what we've been talking about. Tonight I kind of want to focus a little bit more on the positive things, the things we can do. I mean, they're not the answers. And that's obvious because I feel no matter what we do, until corporations are made to honor our constitutional rights here in the United States, they're going to do what they want. Which I'm going to cover a little bit about the TOS, because yesterday I did do more research into their TOS, community guidelines on this platform. Something else you guys need to understand, just because this platform has their TOS, it's also owned by another company, and they also refer you to understand the other company's TOS. Which, for those who don't know what TOS means, it's terms of service. Which, here on this platform, it's terms of service, then you have community guidelines, which both also refer you to their parent company and their terms of service and community guidelines, which, I mean, we're going to cover just a little bit of this. The bottom line is, the idea of taking legal action, don't got a ground to stand on. It's all covered in the TOS. And where you wouldn't think it's covered because how they word it, leaving it open to interpretation, and the fact that TOS can change at any time. It's on our responsibilities to go back, read it. I mean, because they don't have to notify you. It's in the TOS. They don't have to notify you of any changes. It's on you. When you agree, when you sign on here, you agree to a lot of things that you don't really understand what you just signed up to. But these are the things that they get us with. What do we give up when we agree? Because I mean, just today somebody I follow that I haven't really been tuning in much, but today I felt that somebody just felt the need to listen to a show he did. And he just pretty much announced he's going to be doing one video a week here. The rest will be over on Patreon. Well, that's not the answer, because I know a half a dozen people just this year alone that were suspended from Patreon for doing the same thing they're doing here. But you can't tell these guys that. Oh, they were just supporting something. No, they were talking about things, sharing things. Very same thing they share on here. It doesn't matter where you go. Patreon can be used as a tool. I'm not arguing that. Another backup that put videos up where you can download to. So you have a backup in case you ever do get taken down here. Then some just go over there because they want to make a little extra money. Nothing wrong with that either. But it also goes against, this person in particular. Now, his message is always about protecting our freedoms, our freedom of speech, not bowing down. He bowed down. I mean, granted, he's still going to do one video a week, but he let this platform kill his voice. And it made him sound contradictory. And I was like, message. I'm sorry to hear that you made it. I'm personally not going to follow you over there. I mean, I had a Patreon account. When other people started getting their stuff down, I took it down. Then I eventually created another one for a backup, dump my videos. I don't share it. So I could subscribe to some people that went over there, because you have to remember to do things. And the ones I follow over there aren't the ones that charge or stuff. So, I mean, it is a different platform, but they still censor. And that is also on us. We need to realize what we do, our actions, things we say. And this is no defense of what's going on, because it's wrong, you know, but there's so many things they can get us for. Just like I watched a video that had gotten censored that they said was the reason why they got their channel taken down. Well, when you're recording stuff, you actually have an obligation. Some people don't want to be filmed. You have to honor that. And then they state it, or somebody tells them that they state, and you never had asked their permission. They can get you for that even. Not going back and editing your videos, especially with those that do live. You catch a license plate number. You just violated a term of service. Even though it's not quite listed there, it's in that gray area. That can get you violated state. It goes back to, they also put it in there, depending on your state laws. So then you have to know your state laws, what you can do, what you can record and can't record. These are the things we need to realize. Because, I mean, we just got to find ways to make our channels better, maybe a little bit more up on things, which means more work, which takes, you know, our freedoms away to do other things, because we got to spend more time researching technicalities. And I don't want to see that, because that'll hurt channels. So we just need to be a little bit more aware. You know, we all have our own niches. You know, my niche here varies, but I also follow multiple different people. Some people don't agree, some people I follow. Cool. I follow them for reasons. What are they saying? Like some of the people that are the alt-right. I don't agree with pretty much anything that they're saying now. But I listen when I can sit there and actually listen to it and not just, okay, you made me mad, you're gone. Because there is things we can learn from what they're talking. Why are they having these views? You know, eventually we start putting faces onto people that actually infiltrated these groups that's changed these ideologies. You know, am I going to sit here and do what some people do and debunk things and find patterns, things that are going wrong? Why this event might be created where it's not? No, it's not my area of expertise. I mean, I can do that pretty much well on my own, but to break it down for you the way these guys do, I'm not that good at that. I have my own theories and ideas on that. I love what they do. It teaches you how to do it. That's the importance of this. That's why these channels are so important. Why, you know, we don't want them to be constantly banned and finally give up and go somewhere else. So how do we do that? Well, we start, you know, like I said, this channel will always be open to anybody that wants to come on and talk about those things. I will not change that stance. You know, I look at it this way. You know, I'm a small channel. Even if I get big, I'll still do it. But you know, it kind of protects your channel, be able to come over to another channel and talk about the things that you really want to talk about. But you know, if you speak up on your channels, it might get you banned or censored. I'll take that risk. I don't care. It's about giving people a place to express. You know, people don't get me. I always say it's about quality over quantity. I rather come on here, interact with my chat, share ideas, listen to what they got to say. And eventually I will add, I've got programs on this computer to even do more, to where I can bring up Uber conference, let you guys call in. You know, just not inviting you into the hangouts. I can open it up with a phone line now. Been able to do that for a while. I did it on 4th of July. Just a small channel. And there's a lot of things I'd like to do, but in time, I might get there. In time, you know, like the Uber conference can work perfect for this scenario. It'll allow people that, hey, they can just call in instead of coming into the hangouts. You know, and just like I learned, some of the things I learned this week. Some communities it don't affect yet, but I also know how that works. Eventually, they will be affected as well. You know, but like I said, okay, don't affect that community. What can I learn from that? Well, similar to what I learned, how to get around a little bit on Facebook around that. Do a gaming stream every now and then on here and talk about those issues that would normally get me censored. You know, there's ways to do things. And that's what this week's been about, finding those ways. It's also been about reaching out to others. Which the one person I was talking to, if you listen to this, I will get back with you. Not feeling the greatest right now. So I am going to try to keep this show pretty much at an hour tops tonight. Or if I last an hour. My voice seems to be fairly holding up right now. Hey, Pam. But, you know, there's so many things as we start researching into these things. We start realizing that, well, certain communities just aren't going to get along. I don't like that. I think we all should find common ground to be able to get along and put our differences aside when it comes to issues like this. But in reality, I know it doesn't happen very often unless it's a major event. Then people forget everything. And we don't want no major events. You know? You know, I guess some people thought, and I had some people tell me, well, you're just after followers and subscribers. No, I'm not. I mean, go back, listen to some of my videos. I say, if you never listen, where I talk about quality over quantity. I mean, that's how I used to run my website on social platforms that we were on. You know, and especially when I merged with the site, there was that conflict of interest because understanding how a social network works to get it to grow, you've got to market, you got to socialize, you got to rely on numbers to get your stuff in the search engines, stuff like that. And it's like, I just want a good quality of people that's going to get along with each other and spark interactive conversation. And that's the way I ran my websites on the various social networks we were on at that time. The way I ran my magazine. It had a niche for every group, Christian, occultist, survivalist, conspiracy theories. We had it all in us, which was why it was over 300 pages long for a magazine. But I was just still using the tools that we had, the internet. It was a free online publication. And it's something allowed me to understand more about TOS in terms of services. Because when you use other things like Scribd, ESU, you agree to third-party rights, allowing third parties to come in on your websites, have access to your server, so they can, even quote, using little quotes here, my fingers, use to update their software. But it also allows them to watch what you put up. If it's something that goes against what their guidelines are about, their TOS, they can demand you to take it down. Just like everybody does these videos where we think, and we upload them here, put them here, we think we own it. No, we don't. It now belongs to this channel, or belongs to this platform. They say our intellectual rights and property and content is protected, but it's the more you read into it, the more you understand that you don't own the stuff you publish and post on the internet. I ran into issues like that with ESU. Not ESU, but with Scribd in particular. They didn't, because, they try to say you own the content you publish there. And it's protected. They protect it. Where then you put it on this social networking platform, they say that all material you post becomes their property. And there was a big issue there for a while between these two social networks with this. I'm not going to name names on it, because it's everywhere. It's even in the TOS here. If you read through it, then read the guidelines, and go over to the parent, parent platform of YouTube, you'll see their rules and regulations. And they also, this actually shocked me, because last time I read the TOS and stuff, I didn't remember it being there. Okay, even if your channel gets terminated, deleted, it may not be deleted. They have the right to store that content in their TOS. They don't have to, just because they say they terminate and delete your stuff, they still have a digital copy of it. Which makes sense, because for some legal cases and stuff, it can be used and presented, even though they deleted your channel and supposedly deleted all your stuff. That's not kind of new. It happens more on more of the websites and stuff than people realize. There's also a company out in California that archives everything. Stuff that's no longer even around, websites that are no longer around, that actually you can find it in their archives. Which is a beautiful thing, because, hey, somebody once said something. Now they're saying something different. That's content. Don't always, maybe that content's gone now. They removed it from where they had it. You can go research it. And you'll still find it. Things like I said, how many people download our videos? Which there's rules and regulations against that in the terms of service. The thing is, we're going to try to better our content. Just got to be a little bit more cautious. Like I said, change the things, how we word things, how we word our titles. Work with our own communities on this platform. Whatever the niche you're in, work with that community, the ones you're close with. Don't be scared to reach out to others, the ones that might be open-minded enough to, hey, yeah, I'll help you. That's what it's about. I agree with what the guy I was talking to said. Realistically, is this going to make a change or difference? No. But it starts things in motion. The more people you can get involved in speaking out, the more attention it'll get with other people, so they see what's going on. Then who knows? We might not be talking about streamers and creators. We might be talking about the future generations, the future politicians who will come in. It's like, we need to make some changes. I think so. There's actually a bunch of them all around. I'm just talking more of a private one that's not, to my knowledge, isn't linked to the government. But yeah, I think there is NSA storage in Denver. sometimes, this little pebble that we just chuck could create some huge waves later down the road. That's why, it is important to discuss these things and take the opportunity to voice our opinions. And who knows, there might be people that work on these platforms that agree with us. And it might spark them to speak out. How likely is that? Probably not too likely, but we don't know. I've seen crazier things happen from smaller momentum pushes than this. It's like, I find it funny that I reached out to people. Only one person reached out back. And, and I'm the one hasn't continued that conversation on. Is how I felt the last couple of days. Oh yeah, that's been talked about for years. Deals that have been made and stuff. Just because they talk about it now, how it's more of a monopoly, well, they helped create that monopoly. That's been documented. People out there in our communities have documented, pointed that out, showed the evidence, some of the legal stuff that was done, that's been released. Some of the executive orders in previous administrations are made. Yes, and it goes back to what I was talking about. Excuse me. Earlier, this TOS that YouTube has and community guidelines, both of them will refer you to Google's TOS and community guidelines. So you got multiple. It's much like how we read law and stuff. So much as quoted above, or you go as stated in this, and it jumps you around. It keeps people from going. It gets to be, I spent 2 hours, and I'll be honest with you, the TOS here on YouTube is short. It's probably a 10-minute for, average reader, 10, 15-minute read, if that. Of course, then you got to go to the community guidelines. Then you got to go to Google and read their stuff. So it draws out for a little bit, and as you research it, you're paying attention, really focused on it, seeing how the words leave gray areas for interpretation. But the real issue is, it goes back to what I've stated from the day we first started talking about this. It goes back to there's no corporation, no business is held accountable to our Constitution. Our Supreme Court, back in the previous administration, really stuck it to us on that. Excuse me. Yeah. They really stuck it to us on that. And mind you, that's what people don't get. It was used for more the political spectrum, but the way they worded it, it made corporation is not a individual U.S. citizen, therefore the Constitution does not apply to that corporation. Even though this was dealing with, they could send money, as much money, donate to all these political organizations as they wanted to, because they were not considered a U.S. entity, a being, a person. So therefore the Constitution didn't apply. We had justices write about this, talked about their fears that we would eventually see this come about to where it would extend elsewhere. And they were right. It comes down to taking a stand. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep talking about the things. If you don't want to change, don't. Actually, I'll probably expect you a little bit more if you don't. Because we shouldn't have to. But if you don't want to be harassed all the time, don't want to keep having to regrow your channels, then make some changes. Get creative. Think outside the box. Learn how to get away from the clickbait. Get away from the idea of numbers and stuff. because that's a big bullseye on us. As we grow, we start getting a bigger bullseye. As our videos go viral or start getting more views in a rapid amount of time, that gets picked up in the algorithms, which draws attention to it. I did hear back from my friend Chris. I'm still working out getting him on. It might be a couple weeks. He's working pretty steady right now, which is good. I'm getting ready to do a few things, but eventually I will get him on to talk about this. Before I forget that note. In the end, I mean, it's also supporting the community. This is a community. We have various different niches. I'm willing to support every niche. But in that same token, I've had people ask to respect that, we're not part of your guys' community. Don't mention our names. Cool, I understand. Because they're not going through the censorship. They're not going through that. Well, I just refer to it as a community name that we know it as. And there's many out there that don't get this. And maybe we should look at some of that. That becomes our tool too. How are they doing this and avoiding some of the issues? That's why I thought this idea would be more important. Yes, and there's the other thing we really haven't discussed. How many of these people are actually part of the PSYOP, put in here to say these things, to get people who wouldn't normally? And that's why I say use your discretion on this, because how many of these people are actually part of it? Were planted in here, infiltrated to stir up stuff like this so they can get rid of these other channels. I mean, everybody has an agenda. We don't know what each person's agenda is. I mean, I personally know a lot of people will cry wolf to grow their channels. That's why I actually respect those, the ones that share and show you the emails and stuff. But, hey, I'm not no dummy. I can go in Photoshop and create the same document. I mean, that's the world we live in. As technology evolves and advances, we have more people that'll take advantage of it to do their own agenda. And eventually, I like to believe in the fact that eventually they will get caught. And they'll be shown for what they are, which is why I respect a lot of channels out there that break stuff down, because you catch these things. And then you turn around and start sharing these things with everybody else so they can see. This whole week has been really a good learning experience even for me. I learned new things from other people about what they've seen. We learn things right here live on these videos. Before, just last week or a couple weeks, I told Pam, no, they don't monitor chat. Well, I was wrong. They actually do. Just like every time, like I showed you Monday night, you have to go in, when you create an event, make sure you go into your advanced settings and uncheck the spam thing that they got there, because even in my community settings, it's set to, you guys can post whatever on my comments and chat, they put another feature in that most people probably didn't know about or paid it no mind. And as we found, even with that unchecked, a guy still got censored in chat for one particular word he was trying to use. Now, why is that? Because my thing is, it's always this. I know it happens everywhere, so why not take stand instead of running somewhere else? You know, pointing the issues out. Maybe you can learn something from the things we've discussed. Yes, I know some of the topics have been very lengthy, but you can learn something that you might be able to use to limit that from happening to you. Because we do live in a time of age where there's no such thing as privacy. You know, there's no such thing as we can speak freely. Well, there is. You're going to have to ditch your cell phones, walk a ways out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's certain places around where, you know, not even satellites can penetrate. You know, if you want to have a free, undisturbed conversation. You know, I've never been a fan of doing how I've been doing this either. You know, changing how I word things. But if I got a message, I don't want to get censored. I don't want to get banned. I don't want to get community strikes. So I try to play by the rules. And use them to my advantage. Okay, I know if I say this or put this word in my title or my description or say it while in my video, it'll get picked up. So I don't use that word. You know, we talked about that, creating new words or alphabets or meanings. Or, like I said, pick up a thesaurus. What else means that word? It has pretty much the same meaning. You know, some words have more than one meaning, and some words have multiple words that mean the same thing. Look at it as an education experience. You're teaching yourself new things. Make it fun. Make a game out of it if you have to. Kind of how I did it. I've made a game out of it. Okay. Then I start pushing the boundaries a bit. Seeing how far I can go. Nothing wrong with that. Then sometimes I just say screw it and forget about it and just say what I'm going to say anyway. Because it's important. And suffer the consequences. Each of us have to choose and decide how we're going to do things. You know? And, you know, just got to weigh the risk. Okay, if I decide to do it, just keep doing it the way I'm doing it, not change. I'm just going to have to keep making channels. You know? That's taking a stand. It's not allowing you to be changed. That I respect just as much. That's something will get me behind you do what I can to back you. Your channel goes down, oh, come on, hey, person's channel went down, great content, I'll give you a shout out. You know, that's something, you know, Twitch actually got it right, especially in the gaming industry. We used to live stream our stuff. Oh, before we end our streams, you know, we knew somebody else that was streaming, we tend to follow multiple people in that genre. And we take our subscribers before we logged off, go over there, drop it. We called it a Twitch bomb. And drop our subscribers over there. Here, check them out. Give them a shout out in chat, and leave our audience to go there, give them a link in ours so they can just sit there and watch this stream that's streaming what they enjoy. Maybe we should start doing this with our communities, which I think I'm going to try to start as well. People that I follow that I know are going to be live streaming upcoming events, who actually post it in advance, like I fail to do from time to time. I mean, I try to when I can. When I know I'm going to do something specific, but I'm more of a spur of the moment person. So sometimes I struggle with that. I struggle with that a lot, actually, when it comes to scheduling events. But I try to, get on. If I know I'm going to do something today or tomorrow, I'll get on, either do it after the stream or the next day. So you have, a few hours advance notice now, but that also goes to trusting the notification system, which works sometimes and doesn't work. Which is, a hint to YouTube. Fix your notification system, please. It works sometimes and it don't. I mean, I know because, like I said, my 3 other channels, I've got to follow this channel so I can watch my notifications come in. If I see I get 3 notifications, and I'm pretty sure it's working. Or, like tonight, I see that I got 1 notification, I know my notification system isn't working. Then when I get off here, I'll later go check to make sure I'm still subscribed and watching my channel. Which is good. Connect some of your backup channels to the channel. Lets you see what's going on. Just like in most cases, when you get a community strike or content. See, this is where they try to push you to have numbers. You don't got so many numbers. Some of the stuff you can't even. It's okay, Pam. Some of the stuff you can't even, petition or argue copyright or argue your termination. And that's clearly in a TOS. Which is, I don't think that's fair. I think if I've been copyrighted, striked, or supposedly I said something that violated your terms of service, I should have the right to appeal it, argue my case, especially on the grounds of copyright infringement. But it goes back to what I said, Sometimes we don't think when we're live streaming outside or wherever we may be or recording, we don't think to go back and edit, make sure that license plate don't show. And we don't know maybe some of our state laws about videotaping people. When they say they don't want to be interviewed, in most cases, you cannot post that. We have that responsibility. And that gets some people sometimes too. The more we know and understand, the more we talk about these things. So I'll probably every month come back to this for a couple days. Not much, just me still rambling on the same stuff about TOSs and stuff. Things we can and can't do. Things we should be, doing. Reaching out to others is a start. Backing up each other's in our community is a start. We are a community. We should support ourselves. We should be our brothers and sisters' keeper. No matter what they are, because this is a community. We are all brothers and sisters in this community. When they target one group of the community, eventually they're going to, I ramble a lot. Although tonight I'm not going to be doing it. Keep the rambling to a minimum because I kind of want to have a voice come tomorrow. Hot tea and honey's kind of helped, but that will wear off shortly. You know, like I said, when I first seen the people that posted this, you know, wanted to bring the communities together, you know, I was glad to see something big. They're bigger channels. They do reach audience. Yeah, I'm not feeling the greatest. Like I said, when I started this video, I was probably up for about had just gotten back up about an hour ago, so 2 hours ago, whatever it is now. But on a good note is I probably have had about 3 cigarettes today too, because take a couple hits off one and put it right back out. I mean, in the end, we all got to decide what we're going to do. Do we want to keep reaching out to people? I'm going to keep reaching out. I'm going to keep, you know, as I stated, anybody who wants to come on, you're welcome. I got links, and I will get back to the person I was talking to earlier this week. I just, like I said, kind of felt like crap the last 2 days. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's probably coming next. That'll probably be tomorrow. There's a bottle of Jack that I used to cook with still. Got some in. But that'll just be Jack and honey. It won't be no tea. Or worst comes to worst, it'll be that old bottle of Old Dan Tucker. Seems to be a perfect remedy for colds. If that was in North Carolina, it'd be something different. You know, we just, like I said, we got to decide how we do things, who we want to work with. The idea of coming together as a whole sounds good, but we know the reality. And it's also about understanding that, you know, just because we do this, is it going to mean we're going to see change? No, not really. But we're making our voices heard. That's the important thing. It might be the next generation that hears this or watches this. Which, you know, I know some streamers are like, well, we don't get the younger generation. Well, just go, I don't know, just go back to a couple of days in a live video, you'll actually see, yes, we do. Sometimes we just don't know unless they actually admit it. Which was, you know, was a shock for me because I had kind of the same mindset. Now, nothing wrong with being wrong. I like being wrong, especially on things like that. You know, and just like, you know, I don't like seeing channels disappear. Yes, what Pam said in chat is very right and very true. You know, some of these channels are just too alphas. They won't want to come together. You know, it goes back to my philosophies and quality over quantity. Because we do get the ego plays a role in a lot of this too. You know, we get these channels that grow so big. We don't want to invite the low guy on. We don't want other channels that might be a little bit bigger because we don't want to lose our audience to them. That becomes their mindset. And that mindset kills causes like this. You know, we got to be the voices of change. Sometimes the little guy's got to be the voice of change and reason. But then again, they look at the little guy in the same perspective. Oh, he's just after our subscribers. And like I said the other night, and I'll restate it again in this video, I don't want your subscribers. In fact, I'll state it in every video if I get people come on, don't subscribe to this channel. Those of you who follow this person. You know, and if you're going to come on, post it on your channel the day before, that day or the night before or whatever, and tell him, he doesn't want people subscribing to his channel, but you're all invited to come over and watch and hear what we got to say, and kind of touch on what you're going to talk about in a way that's not going to get you in trouble. And that takes care of that problem, But then in the end, people are going to, some people might not agree with some of the things I say, or some of my opinions or my beliefs. And that's going to be the ultimate stumbling block that's going to keep them from coming over here. Yeah, but they have their own communities that they're affiliated with. They can do it within their community. The idea is great. Maybe not. Maybe it's not going to be as grand as they portray it and say it to be. So okay, we'll work on a small pebble. You don't need to be everybody. Just plant the seed. With other communities. Let them do it within their communities. More communities that start doing it, hey, it becomes that grand idea on its own. I mean, in a sense, that's all we can do. And that's all we need to do. I mean, like I said, my philosophy and ideas and ideologies aren't everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody's going to agree with. But I see people out there, even some people that most people wouldn't normally follow. I've actually seen them reach out to other people and bring them on their channels, even though they don't agree with them. I got a lot of respect for that. Then I watch them get bashed by their own community for doing it. It's like, why? Right. And it's just like, I try not to talk bad about other channels on my streams. No matter what my personal opinions may be. My personal opinions are just that. It's on you guys to make your own personal opinions about these channels. See, Pam, it's a tool, though. I'm not against that. I mean, like I said, I have a PayPal donate button on my YouTube. I think it's in my description even. But I don't mention it. Just like the t-shirt donate. I'm going to give an example. We all know who got Citizen of the Year, supposedly, according to GQ, right? Well, a lot of the big memes and stuff, big talk is, why didn't J.J. Watt get it? Well, let's look. I know people don't want to hear about NFL, but let's look at J.J. Watt. And this goes back to something I said in a couple of videos. Now, I'm against the disrespecting of the flag, what they're doing. But J.J. Watt, he led by example. He knew he was a role model. He knew he had influence. So what did he do? He went to Facebook on GoFundMe, created a GoFundMe, and raised, I think they're saying, $36 million for the relief and through donations from we the people. He used his ability to give back to a community that needed it. And in the end, that's what it came down to in Houston. It was we the people. It wasn't the Red Cross. You've heard the state governors talk about the what cross? The who cross? The no cross? No show cross? Who raised millions and millions, more than what J.J. Watt raised, but it was never seen in the communities. Ha ha ha. Any difference of opinion on that one, Pam? I don't know how you get that number. Oh, never mind. Yeah, I do. To me, it's 9. But no, they don't want him to be the face of Citizen of the Year. They rather have somebody that on the 4th of July was in some other country talking about how much he hates America. But that's our citizen, supposedly our Citizen of the Year. You know, but in the end, is J.J. Watt just used his fame. He used himself as the role model that, he understands he's supposed to be, being a professional football player. He knows he's a role model, so he reached out. And he did a good thing. Yeah. And I know people don't want to talk NFL. I mean, I'm not watching it now. That's how mad they made me. So, but the point is, some of these, I know a lot of smaller YouTube channels, they do that. And I know gamers that started doing that. I know a gamer. I'm not going to mention his name because I was asked not to. But he started out gaming on Twitch, streaming. This person lives in California. I know how much it costs to have an apartment in California. I've known plenty of people from there. It's not cheap. He was able to turn something, the passion that he loves doing, and make a career out of it. Just from Twitch, by accepting donations. Because the donations were for, if you want me to continue doing streams, getting better equipment, doing these things, I got to be able to pay rent. I got to be able to put food on the table. You know what? He now has his own house. Nice little deal with Blizzard. All because he started using these tools. They are tools that anybody can use. So I'm not against, PayPal, T-shirts, donate. Because if you're following your passion and you're about the right things and you're using those things for the right things, I'd like to believe something can happen. I've watched it with my own eyes happen to people I know. But on the other hand, they know this, so they can take advantage of it. They can control your content more, your freedom. There's always two sides of the coin. And yes, some people are just for that. They just want that. That's why I don't ask, but somebody does. So be it. Just like I've been slipping lately, I need to get a hold of Emily. She runs her and a few of her friends that went to college, they created their own crafts business. You know, this goes back to what I was talking about, mom and pop stores. Maybe that's what we need. I mean, I know this how it works because when I was younger, I got into racing, the local dirt tracks. You've got to have sponsors. Because it's not what back then. It wasn't even a cheap hobby. Still wasn't a cheap hobby. They required some sponsorships. You know, and I'm not getting a little off topic here because they don't pay me to come on or advertise for them. I do it because they're a mom and pop, what I consider a mom and pop store. They're the community. You know, they're doing it because they're just freshly out of college, working on getting their career started, but they're still making crafts and stuff as a side job. I mean, she particularly does like cosplay events and stuff, but there's other people involved that make jewelry, woodworking, and various other craft stuff. I mean, I do some crafts when I got time. In fact, was working this summer to get things set up so I could start doing that stuff on my side, you know, using the tools that we have, you know, making candles. We've got all the candle making stuff. Machine, waxes, beeswaxes, oils, incense. We got tons of woodworking tools, lathes, that stuff I know how to use. But I had to take care of some other things towards the end of the summer that prevented me to get a lot of this stuff set up. The candle stuff's inside the house, so that's not a problem. But that was this stuff I could market. I could, run my own advertisements for my own business. That's what my PayPal account is a business account. That's why I have it, not for really donations. Stuff that I can market, it puts a little extra. It's not a business, but could I turn it into a business? Yes, eventually. If I'm putting out good quality work. That's why I have a do-it-yourself section of this channel. Granted, I've only done a little bit on it. So I don't knock these people that use this. In fact, I want to start reaching out to some more of these mom and pop communities. I don't want them to sponsor me, but hey, here's some people you can go to. It's the holidays. I'm going to get off a little topic here. We'll talk about the holidays. The holidays are coming up. Man, I've seen a couple smear ads on certain websites. Now it's trending on Twitter. How, well, if your family's leftist, don't invite them. No. That's not what the holidays is about. See, they keep pushing this division. They've done it in our community. We should be able to come together no matter what it is and celebrate everything. Hey, Tacky. No matter what it is, Those differences should be put aside come the holidays. Maybe we need to get back to some more of our roots on that aspect. Stop letting media dictate. Stop letting social networks dictate that, hey, because your family is this, instead of having the arguments, just no. How about when you go to your families, don't even talk about it. Talk about the good times. Talk about the memories, the good memories. Don't need the bad ones at the table. I mean, they're there, but hey, they're only there if you let them be there. Those topics only come up if you broach those topics. Somebody brings it up, ignore it. Or do something completely off the wall. You know what? I agree. You don't. Just so you can kill the argument and keep the festive holiday spirit going. I mean, this time of the year is not really good times for anybody because, you're really working hard to get gifts for your kids, have a decent Christmas or a decent Thanksgiving with the in-laws and family. So you're putting in twice the hours trying to really work. And sometimes you realize you're not going to have it, so you're going to charge things up, then you're going to spend the next year paying off the debt that you accumulated for the holiday season. You know, that's why I don't knock some of the stuff, you know, we see. They're tools. They're usable. Use them for the right things, then people see that. And I agree with Pear. I see some people that's really all they're about. So in a sense, they made this a business. You know, maybe it goes back. I'll get back on topic though. But maybe, you know, like the mom and pop stores, bring them on, let them sponsor you, because that shows. It will start showing YouTubers other advertisers out there that might be more marketable for channels like this and like yours. You know, sometimes we got to put the legwork in ourselves. We got to make the initiative. And I've seen channels do it. You know, I've done it for people that I know. Yes, and some use others for their knowledge on live streams. It's important. Yeah, everybody has knowledge. It's on us to interpret it if it's for us or not. And you can usually distinguish the difference between those who have knowledge and wisdom, which, you know, to get wisdom, you got to experience things, so you can tell those that they actually experienced it or haven't. Or they're just reporting on it, or which is nothing wrong with that either. But for me, you know, guys, it's important. Read the TOSs. Read the community guidelines. You know, open up go to Google, read their terms of service, their community guidelines. Gives you a fair understanding of things. Subject to change at will, remember that. So make it a priority. Not like me every 3 months or 4 months or 6 months. Once a month, go check and make sure nothing's changed. I guess I only caught a couple things changed, and that was like 3 months. Plus, you know, you look at the date at the bottom of the terms of service, it says 2010. You know, it's been revised since then. And keep observing, watching, pay attention to other channels that you follow. What got them taken down? What did you notice? If you notice something, that let them know. Either their comments or privately go to their channel and privately message them and let them know, hey, I seen this. You started having issues with your live stream when you talked about this. Inform them. It just helps our community that much more. Take time to interact with your audience. To me, the interaction part's just as important as the message or what the topic I'm talking about. Because we might end up on a new topic and learn something new, realize something new. Yeah, Google Play store terms and services. Actually, they're all pretty much the same anywhere you go. And some people don't realize that. I have a little bit more knowledge on third-party stuff and because of the software and stuff, building websites, developing platform servers and stuff. And I was doing it. So I understand that when you agree to the because you're always agreeing to third-party applications. Well, you're also giving rights to that third party to come onto your platform, onto your server, to make updates, or make sure certain content is what they believe in to their guidelines. People don't realize that. Should that discourage you from using it? No, because it's an important tool. The embed here on YouTube is an important tool. Because I can't live stream on the Minds or Gab or Twitch. I can Periscope on Twitch, but I can't YouTube live stream on Twitch. I have to be able to share the link or the embed on my WordPress. I can't upload to my WordPress, so I rely on YouTube for the link to embed it on my WordPress site. So by doing that, I'm agreeing to third-party application rights. But it allows me to share the information on multiple platforms. The only platform I can't share anything on seems to be Facebook. So pretty much, well, now my Facebook account is just that, for family and friends. And the one community where I can actually post and talk about things. So, there's so much stuff that goes into all the stuff we do. More than what I think most people actually realize. Because you don't have time. I had lots of time when I was learning, teaching myself coding and stuff. To do research, get into it. When you're working, you don't have that time. That just got so lucky. It was that time I was working in that field where I was in front of the computer more than I'd like to admit, to be honest, because there was plenty of times I'd actually fell asleep at the computer working on building my own platform and sites, doing the code work. Okay, what did I screw up? Why is this working? I'm still waiting for my one friend to get back with me that uses Roku, see if they have the same issues. I should be hearing from them sometime this week or this weekend. It's just like me. So like yesterday and today, because I haven't been feeling well, I just put my computer in sleep mode. So because no phone, somebody needs to get a hold of me. It's about being able to get a hold of me using internet access. Skype, which until this week I haven't used in over a year. Messenger, emails, hangouts, to talk to people. So when I'm not on, I have to kind of miss some people. Yes, so do I. It's right. That cold's finally got into my chest and throat, which is a good thing, because now that it's there, it'll be easier to get rid of. But in the end, guys, it's what we do, how we choose to take the situation, and what we're going to make of it. Are we going to keep letting them push us around? Are we going to make changes that maybe they'll back off on? That's a hope. It goes back to what I was saying, we're all our brothers and sisters' keepers. Standing up for them, being supporting them, even if I don't really agree with them, supporting them, helping them. It sends a message. It sends, okay, we're tired of it. You know, we've weighed the consequences, and there's consequences to every choice and decision we make. You know, what are you willing to accept? Are you willing to risk your channel by doing it? Which I've already stated I am. You know, but I think the way I do things and how I think things thus far slide on the radar. But as many people have pointed out in chat, eventually, you know, I'm going to reach that magic number. Yes, sleep is good, and what's probably going to happen shortly after this video. Because, but I also got that thing, man, I can't stand being in bed. I've already been in bed most of the day. You know, I got up, and it was like, I managed to make it for like 45 minutes. I said, screw it, I'm going back to bed. That's the only thing I hate about being sick. I don't like being in bed. I'd much rather go out and do something and sweat it out. But unfortunately, Ohio weather this time of year is no sweating nothing out. You're going to freeze it out or get drenched. It's rained all day. And nothing's worse when you're sick like this. Sick, cold, damp weather. You know. Yes, that is actually probably tempting before this night's over. But right now I'm going to stick with the tea and honey for a bit. I'll save that for when my lungs are actually on fire. You know, because like I said, I mean, we can sit here and break all this stuff down like we have. We're pointing out many things. We've been bringing up many. I'm really happy. We've pointed out many good things. We've come up with many ideas. That's the key. Pointing these things out. Showing you guys these things. Interacting with each other. Learning. Okay. All that's going to do is going to better our channels, no matter what we talk about. In the end, that's improvement in itself. In the end, that's showing them that we police our own content, you know, which is part of those community guidelines, you know, which gets abused too, because there's another aspect, you know, we've hit on but not discussed in depth. The bots, the people are paid to come on here to actually attack channels. We have no protection against that. You know, we don't have a say in that when it comes time to, okay, you've been terminated or you've been banned or you've got a community strike because something of yours was flagged, you said something. We don't have a say in that. And we should. You know, we should be able to, you know, just face our accusers. Not so much them being in the shadows, and basically it's not just because they're accusing us of something because they didn't like it or it triggered them. So I'm just going to lash out at the channel and hope to get it taken down. No. You know, that goes, yeah. You know, and I think it's funny. And they say that don't happen within their organizations, but yet on another platform it got freely emitted. Yes, somebody that worked with us went in and shut down somebody's account for 11 minutes. A disgruntled employee. So it does happen. It just don't usually gets talked about. You know, and it's nothing new. It's happened on social platforms since the existence of social platforms. People you put as admins. You know, people that put in admin control moderators here of chat. You know, they have the right to ban people, time them out. I don't think we can time out anymore. We used to be able to just time a person out for a couple minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And, you know, sometimes you can't take the humanness out of humans. Sometimes they just don't like the person. You know, that's where I get real picky about. These are just things I learned on other platforms. It happens there. You know, you learn to pick your admin, your moderators, as you pick your friends and family. You know, the ones that are going to respect her. You know, the ones that will come to you, hey man, I don't like what this person's doing. Can you check it out? See if you're seeing the same thing I'm saying. You know, that's how, when a bunch of us that was Ning worked on Ning, creating websites and stuff, that's how we worked. We worked as a community. Yes, we had our different niches. We had our different websites. But we all communicate. We get together and communicate. We get spammers on our website. We'd go talk to the other website administrators or owners and give them a list. This person is doing this, you know, and we compiled a list. For the longest, we kept spammers off our channels. We kept our communities safe. But then even that, things changed. Something came about. Because before, we used to be able to, when you joined the Ning site, you got a profile. So we used to be able to go see, well, what sites are you on? So we actually got to kind of vet our communities and came across something that was sick. And we reported it. And they kind of fought back against us. And eventually it got reported to the FBI. And next thing you know, all those features, how we was able to vet, got taken away. We were told, well, if you keep pursuing this, you'll lose your channels. We'll remove your accounts and you'll no longer be allowed on this platform. And, you know, created some new legalization terms in their TOSs that prevented you to even show evidence to prove it, because if you had it on your computer, you're just as guilty. That was their answer to shutting all of us up that spoke out against it, because it was downright sick what was going on. But that was 2009, 2010. We're seeing the same things going on to this day. That's finally getting spoken about, just not covered the way it should. So everybody sees it. You know, that's what makes all these channels on YouTube so important. It's a checks and balance system. It allows us, you know, to discern for ourselves what we think is factual or not. It allows us to see, hey, wait, maybe we need to question some things more. And that's the importance. But on the same token, always remember, one man's tool is another man's weapon. And they will find ways, they have throughout centuries, throughout history to find ways to silence those things. It takes people standing up, as we've seen throughout history. People will just get so fed up with finally put their differences aside, come together. So on that point, yes, change can happen. It might take forever. It might take something major to actually make it happen, but it can happen, so you can't rule the possibility of it out. And that's what this week's been about. How do we make those changes? How do we help our fellow brothers and sisters? How do we help this community? And all of you that shared, took part in it, in chat, come up with some great ideas, great ways, great thinking. And that alone shows, there's hope. That movements like this, taking stands against issues like this, can make a difference later. Maybe not in the time we want, but later down the road. If anything, maybe it'll just ease the tension a bit so it's not happening as much to people. And with that brings a positive change. It's going to be there. We know it's going to be there. Okay, they take their focus off this. And that's the other thing, guys. On issues like this, don't take your focus off it. Don't let them distract you from this. Because that's another tool they like to use. Distracting you with other information. Get you to go down rabbit holes so you forget about the important things. They do. Much like clickbaiting, they find ways to bait us, to get us off certain topics, subjects. It's understanding these things and sharing them. And like I said, some people might hear it, they might completely disagree, but they've heard it. That's all that matters. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. It'll be stuck somewhere back in your brain, and one day, out of nowhere, it'll bring itself right to the forefront when something happens and you'll realize it's like, man, I heard you. And it jars you to like, okay, well, you pay attention a little bit more, start seeing things. So everything is a good thing in its way. That's why, I point these things out, and I also point out the good things on here. Because it's also important to reflect those good things, the things you can learn from the various different communities. It's a beautiful platform that is being abused right now. And we know by who. Just knowing that, okay, I can make a few changes to maybe not get nailed or caught up into something that would get my channel unwanted attention. To where I can still put my message out there. Sometimes just talking good about it, the good things on it, might help. Who knows? I don't know that one yet. I mean, probably not, because, they see it for what it is. Oh, yeah, you're just sugarcoating it. Not really. I believe in those good things on here. Yeah, there's probably I don't know, close to a 30-second to a minute delay between me talking and chat. I mean, I got slow mode turned off, but will always be that delay. Some of it depends on your internet connection speed, but there will always be a little delay between live and, which is something else thanks for pointing that out, Pam. That's something else some people don't know. I might say something that they don't want you to hear. They can use that little delay and shut me off, shut the stream down when I'm talking about that. Or as we've caught, playing with the microphone on YouTube, on Hangouts. You know, I've seen all kinds of weird stuff happen whilst live streaming. I mean, it's just not here. It's just not here. I mean, I used to live stream a lot on Facebook too, in my other group. Seen it happen with Periscope. You know, even now I've seen Periscope add new features that will allow more censorship on Periscope. So like I said, there is no solution to a platform. They all eventually, once they get you reeled in, caught in, they all slowly integrate. As Pam always says, drip by drip. They'll start adding these things. You know, just like for me, Gab's cool. Not the answer. It's still a pay-to-play format. You want to do live videos, you got to pay to be able to do the videos. Now I think you can upload now, which is cool. Or like Pam says, why Haruko keeps shutting her off from her phone? You know, is it because of the stream or is it because of connection? Which, you know, you can easily tell if it's because of connection. Because if you're watching Ruko and they don't do it to other things, then you can start seeing the cookie crumbs, the pattern evolve. Okay, when I'm watching this channel, when they're talking about certain things, this starts happening to my device. But yet when I watch this, it don't happen. If anything, these things teach us to pick up on those things, be a little bit more aware. You know? And, you know, just like I told some of the people that left here and decided to strictly go on Patreon, I'm like, all you gotta do the research. How many people this year alone has been suspended, lost their accounts on Patreon because of things they've said or people they followed? It's happened. I've watched it. I know people that's lost their Patreon account because of it. It's why I didn't take this channel and put it on Patreon. I was going to. In fact, there for the longest, I think some of my videos still have it in their description. I never put the link to the Patreon in yet, but I was setting it up to run it that way. And when I seen this, no, I can't support that. I can't support a platform that's doing that. You know? I'm not going to leave here, go there when they're doing the same thing. I might as well stay here and take a stand. Keep doing what I'm doing. You know? And I know how it works. When you move, you're losing a fraction of your audience or half of your audience because they're not going to go there. I've experienced that from websites. When we move platforms, we go to something we think's better at the time, which probably at the time it was better. But eventually the same stuff we was dealing with the other platform eventually starts happening on the new platform. Then we say screw it, we're going to create our own. Then we find out the real truth. You're not going anywhere. It's always going to happen. Even if you go to create your own server, buy your own server, and create your own. That's completely your own. Create your own TOS, which we did. And all the legal stuff that goes with it. Eventually you find out that powers that be aren't going to let you. They're going to want some form of control. Then when you start allowing, as I pointed out, third-party applications to come on, they're going to have a say on your platform, on your server. That's the truth, guys. That's the cold, hard facts. No, where you, no matter where you go, you're going to deal with it, even if you create your own. And if you try to buck the system, as my friend put it, they'll just shut you down. And use your imagination how they'll do that. I mean, he broke it down to me. So I didn't have to use my vivid, very vivid imagination. The fact is, he's right. I mean, I've heard lawyers tell me that when we was working on Lego 8, you know. I mean, not that vividly, but in legal jargon. So why not use what we got? Take a stand wherever it may, whatever platform it may be. Start these little momentous movements on those platforms. You know, find creative ways to do it. Bring other people, get other people in the community to get involved, and keep working on the issues. I mean, yeah, there's social platforms. They're the biggest social platforms out there right now. I mean, well, you're either there, or you're not, or you're here. I mean, it really don't make a difference because they are the biggest. That's the thing. We keep forgetting. As I pointed out with the mines, with Gab. Things we can do here, you can't do anywhere else. Things you can do on Facebook, you can't do anywhere else. You can mimic some of those things with some open source software, but it's still not the same process. There's still things that people haven't figured out how to code, so it mirrors exactly that. So they have that. That makes it a monopoly because nobody else can reproduce that and offer you those things. Why? Because it takes tons of coding, tons of money to pay a coder. So yeah, these big platforms, you know. I mean, I remember when I joined Facebook, couldn't live stream. They didn't have a messenger. I mean, it was more to me, more like just being on a regular, any other social network. You know, there's a few things you could do there that you couldn't do other places, but it was a few. Now look at it. Now you can live stream, share your thoughts. You know, instead of posting a picture, you can post an audio video wishing somebody a happy birthday. There's so much you can do. And that draws people in and gets them hooked. It makes them what they are today. And with that, no, on that mindset, they also can control the content that flows. They can dictate. Why? Because you want those things. You're there because of those things. You're there because of the interaction with your friends and family and people around the world that you wouldn't have that connection with. So they play on it. They use it. They threaten to take it away if you do talk about certain things. It's just another means to control. But we all got to face the facts. There is some evil, sick people in this world that will abuse those systems. That will put whatever on there thinking it's cool or prey on people. So there has to be some form of policing, some form of regulation to keep that type of stuff off there. You know, that was even websites and stuff. That was one of our biggest challenges, keeping the predators, the spammers, the hackers off the platforms. We did it as a community. There was like 10 of us before we all went our separate ways and was venturing on to other things. There was 10 of us that were a solid community. We all had multiple websites. I mean, I'm talking about huge websites. I'm talking about for social community goes, not Facebook, but numbers, but 50,000, 60,000 members. We're talking about 20,000 online all the time, where you had to be monitoring. You had to have people monitoring. You know, but we was able to do all that. It can be done here. It can be done on all these platforms. It comes down to it. It's the people that, it's the bad apples in my group. Some bad apples, they much rather go after people that are free thinkers than go after the ones that are committing violation, the real crimes on the platforms, which we've seen repeatedly this year on a certain platform. Not this one, but on a certain platform where I do a live video talking about these things, right, we're talking about right now, I'd be instantly shut down and potentially banned for 30 days. Where this video of this sick act happens that streams for over an hour, doesn't get taken down. And that wasn't on this platform. I'm sure there might be a few horror stories like that on this platform. I haven't heard of them. Not, but I can't say it hasn't happened. It's kind of why I have a somewhat of a respect for this platform, because there is a sort of checks and balances. But unfortunately, it's gotten a little out of hand. Now it's just, you have an opposing view or you say something that offends anybody. And that's actually in their terms of service. You know, when it comes to identity, gender, and all that stuff. If you talk about it and someone takes offense, that's a strike in the terms of service. Because, I mean, we've taken bullying and cyberbullying to whole new levels. You know, to what is right and what's wrong. Where it falls back to what is common sense. The way he said it, was that really meant in an offensive way? More likely not. It's just somebody got offended and wanted to lash out. And they should be punished for that. But I've seen some people on here go right straight to town. And it's bash after bash where common sense would dictate. Now that is a violation of the terms of service. Because the intent was to do that. And some of that goes, how much of that is the algorithm, the AI doing it? See, that's what happens when you start taking human interaction out of it. A human would view the two situations the same way I just viewed it. One was with intent. One, there was no intention to bash. Can the algorithms and AI do that? Good question. Some say yeah. Because I believe to a certain extent it can, from what I've been told. Yeah, common sense hasn't sense. Common sense should be the number one thing. You know, if we used a little bit of common sense, some of the stuff we would say we'd actually think about before we said it. You know, like I said, throughout this whole series I've done, which I'm going to probably wrap it up Friday, and switch to normal topics. A couple topics I want to talk about for Saturday. To get back to a somewhat normal schedule, so I'm not on here every day because I don't want to be. And also setting time to also come back and revisit this topic, because it's going to be important. It's a topic that we can't let just be pushed under the rug. It needs to be brought up once or twice a month. And it needs to be actually brought up in our communities every day by somebody. you know, watch out. You see a channel go down, and I've seen people start doing it now more and more, and that's what we need to do. Point it out. This channel got a community strike. You know, this is their new channel. Go support it. Just by doing that, more people start doing that. It's also bringing awareness. It's also adding to the voice. And that's very important. You know, but at the same time, I also got to realize there's things that are also important that need to be talked about. You know, but I wanted to set this week aside for that. For this, talk to other people, and it's been very informative, very eye-opening actually. I mean, there's things I didn't notice or seen that was going on. And that is the importance. I don't know about that, Pam, but I do know that, I do know this. There's a lot of things that those that are enlisted right now, they can't talk about. I mean, like this number conversation we're having right now, they couldn't talk about it without risk of getting in trouble because, oh, stupid rules, stupid laws, I guess, and regulations, but they're not stupid. They have a purpose. I actually would, coming from him, I would actually trust that. He's well knowledge, well versed, and well wise. From what just a little bit I got to talk to him this week, which wasn't long. That was enough, you know. And watching the shows, yes, he said it. I believe there's facts into it. It wouldn't surprise me. I will look into it. I do know some people that are in the service. I'll ask. But yeah, if he said it, I'd believe it. And that's the thing, guys. When you know these, that's the thing. I, just recently started following him. You know when somebody's knows what they're talking about. He knows that a lot of their information. Why? Because, well, I do what you're supposed to do, question everything. I go back and research. Pam rung up. I will go back and research. Because I didn't know that. Makes sense. I'd believe it. Even not doing the research. Just like I know from my other channel. A friend of mine, they went to an event. She filmed it. I couldn't use the video because I would have had to really heavily edit the video because her husband serves. And he's not allowed to talk about this. People in the state that certain little group that's caused a bunch of trouble this year, they think it was just in certain events. No. They were attacking every community out there. Events. And this one event, they had no business being at. Had nothing to do with them. You would never think they would ever show up, and they did. And they ruined a good thing that community was coming together to celebrate. It had nothing to do with politics or anything. But yet they showed up and ruined it. That's why she didn't want to come on. I asked her, well, why don't you come on, and explain what you saw, but, By doing that, there's a chance, because we've seen how that worked this year, people doxing people, chance that somebody would have recognized your voice. I don't have a software to, or software to, change their voice patterns and stuff. So it was a story that I could talk about, but I couldn't show, which sucked, in my opinion. But it's also, I respect that. I understand that. Because that's another duty we have, guys. We also got to think about, when we talk about events like I just described, are we putting those people in risk? We've seen it happen this year. And as a community, that's our responsibility to protect the people that we interview or people we have come on and talk. We accept that responsibility when we do that, or when we're live streaming and catch something. Sometimes, and they use that against us too. Like I said, you practically got to know your state laws, your country's laws, along with the terms of service when you do things that some of you guys do. Sucks. It shouldn't be that way. Just like it shouldn't be that my videos are banned in certain countries. But I'm pretty sure on this channel, I think it's on this channel, it might be on Drew Lima's channel, my backup channel. I've took screenshots. This is banned in this such and such country. When I went to go feature a video on my page, channel page here, flat out, told you. But no, I'm cool. I'm actually leaving the chat up on the screen for a reason. To show people your guys' interactions, your thoughts, our interactions. And it goes to show, even, I know a couple of, because I don't talk about certain people or name names, don't mean you guys can or can't. It's your opinions and views. And also, maybe those people see it and might think, why they see me in that way? What have I said that, it's educational all the way around. Hence why this is categorized under education. It's also my views and opinions. It's your guys' views and opinions. Which I have a disclaimer on that right down here. All views and opinions shared on this broadcast are expressly and solely my own and of the individuals that are part of this broadcast. All images are open source and free for market use. Any video images shared are accompanied by the link to the media or website and protected under Fair Use Act if permission was unable to be obtained. If something is said that you don't agree with, you have the right to fact check it yourself. Comment and express your own opinion. Stop watching the broadcast. We are not responsible for the misuse of our content, nor are we responsible for any actions that occur as a result to something that was said or shown. We do not justify violence of any sort, nor do we justify the act of forcing your will upon another person. For each is entitled their own belief, ideas, morals, and opinions. All speech is protected by the Constitution, as well as your religious views and beliefs. And I will always stand by that disclaimer. That disclaimer hasn't changed much. But yeah, it's putting his channel out there, but I also respect his channel. channel that I actually put in his new channel. I put in links to my channel for other people to go find. It's on you, the viewer, to decide if it's for you or not. And some might find this shocking, but that disclaimer was also my disclaimer on my websites and magazine. And it was actually part of the disclaimer in terms of services that we had created for the platform we were designing. You have to do all that too. I didn't realize how much work went into, especially when you're just a group of 5, 6 people working on a project like that. That's that huge. There's multiple facets. It's just not the coding, the design, the graphics, the back end. There's also the legal stuff. Sitting down, chatting with business consultants, lawyers, the people that I don't normally ever deal with. But because I was co-owner, co-designer, co-creator, I was I was obligated and had to be part of those conversations. Which was educational. I learned things which I was able to take and even use now on this platform. And that's what it's about, guys. That's what this platform was always designed for us. I mean, I believe in them. I love their mission statement. I agree they're not following their mission statement right now, but it also will tell you, refer to the terms of service. And within the terms of service, you see all the gray lines to be subject to interpretation as you would interpret, which is not going to be how they interpret it, which, in a sense, contradicts their mission statement. And the fact is, if you read the terms of service, you can't take no legal action against them, period. Not even a little bit. They're not responsible for anything that happens on here. Any content that you put up cannot go back on them. Facebook's the same way, Twitter's the same way, any place you go, it's the same thing. They have the right to make the rules as they see fit at the time they see fit. Like I said, do I agree with it? No. That's a cop-out. Just like I'm a firm believer that even with what we're doing, trying to do now, it needs to go further. It needs to go to our congressmen. Start demanding that. All the way up to the Supreme Court, need be. Demanding that our corporations and businesses in this country have to honor our Constitution. They have to abide by that law. That's the change that will stop this. That will be the change that allows YouTube to honor its mission statement. Instead of being bullied by the corporate sector. Like we pointed out in previous videos. It's a shame that they can do it. That China's government, other governments, and other countries can enforce their governmental law on the internet. which unfortunately some of those countries, that's oppressive to free speech. But our country can't force our very Constitution to be honored, our freedom of speech, freedom of beliefs and expressions and liberty and religion, like what's made this country what it is today, can't be honored on the internet. I don't see why it can't. It actually would set a precedent for other countries to maybe change how they oppress the internet and allow more freedoms on there. Likelihood of that happening in other countries, slim to none, but hey, we've always set the precedent of change too. Unfortunately now we're starting to see other countries set that precedent of change when it comes to corruption and stuff. Interesting domino that's happening abroad. Been happening this whole year. Makes me wonder when we're going to see that here in our country. So people finally get tired of the corruption and start taking care of the corruption. You know, where, you know, people start being held accountable for the deeds they've done. Yeah, true, but yet I see it happening in the other countries. And that domino is rolling. It's gotten momentum. I mean, I don't think we're too far off before we see it here. So we're seeing change come about. We're seeing change happen. Maybe not where we want to see it happen right now, but that domino is in effect. But we could argue the politics of that all we want. You know, some of it might just be to get a new regime taking over, validating power for themselves, and nothing will change in those countries. And we might see some of those countries, things do change. They will start prospering and becoming better. We've seen it happen in history. History is a good lesson teacher, guys. But I am going to end this stream for now. I'm probably going to go back to bed here shortly. Drink another cup of tea. But I don't want to ruin my voice any further than I have. So I want to have a voice for tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. So, and plus I want to do a 3-hour long stream. I was only going to do an hour. I managed to do 2, which is kind of happy. I didn't think I could make it over an hour. But like I said, guys, the next 2 days, anybody wants to come on, message me. Actually, I would enjoy somebody else coming on and talking for a little while, just so I could save my voice a little bit. Because I know it's already starting to get to my throat, to my chest now. So, you know, we can do that. The invitation's out there. I've messaged some of you. And so the one person that I was talking to, I never asked permission to use your name, so I haven't. I'll get back with you tomorrow on Skype. Hopefully I'm feeling a little bit better than I had today. And like I said, you know, and it might come out where we might continue this. People start coming on, and we might go a little bit longer on this. I'm going to do some other topics, though. Like Saturday, I'm definitely doing a different topic, which all my topics can actually relate to this one in the end. And we'll just see. So, like I said, if you guys want to join the stream, I'll set it up. Tomorrow I might test out the Uber conference. I haven't used it in forever. So it probably needs updated. That way you guys can actually call in if you want. See if it actually worked this time. Last time I had glitches with it. It worked for a little bit, then quit. You know. or then I'll set up something with you guys. That's another reason why I haven't really been scheduling this. If, for Thursday, Friday, even Saturday, just consider 7 o'clock done. From 7 on be when I'll go live. Unless I get somebody that's in a different time zone, then I might go sooner or later. If it's later, I'll let you guys know. But I am going to get off here. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Be safe, and I will talk to you guys hopefully tomorrow. Good night, everyone.